this webinar? Josephine, can you hear me?
Yes, my can hear you. Good afternoon,
okay,
everyone.
Please, can you
My name is Josephine Bassi. I'm from Calabar, Cross River State, Nigeria. And my expectation for this program at the end of this session is that I hope participants will be enlightened on the consequences, the effect of FGM, that's female genital mutilation, and whatever knowledge that we gain, whatever insight that we gain from this session, I hope that participants will also give a step down of this knowledge to their different communities and enlighten others, especially in the grassroots. It all starts from the grassroots. Those that are not really educated, that doesn't really have knowledge what FGM is all about. I hope this knowledge will be transferred to such individuals and to tell them the consequences, the effects of this FGM, what it's all about. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Josephine. Thank you for honoring this invitation. I'll also like to call on Humble Thomas. Please, can you tell us where you're joining this webinar from and what you hope to gain?
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Humble Thomas. I'm joining from Nigerian Navy Secondary School, Burkiri, Rivers State. Okay, what I expect from this webinar is that I want to really know the insight of how this FGM is being done, the consequences, the aftermath, the causes, and the rest, ma'am.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you very much, Humble Thomas. Once again, thank you everyone for honoring our invitation. It promises to be a very exciting session. At this point, I would like to hand over to my moderator, Zach Onwe.
Well,
Zach,
thank you so much.
Me?
Yes, Rama, I'm here. Thank you. Please, at the point, I would like us to put on our video. So I think that's also going to help us to get to put faces to the names. Like you can see me, certain everybody can see me now. All right, so Rama, I'm also going to push this back to you to take the next session. Thank you. Rama, did you hear me? Hi, Rama, if you can hear me, please. I am handing over the next session to you still. Please go ahead. Wow.
Okay, so hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
yes, ma'am.
so I think Rama is having network issues, so I'll just comment at this point while she sorts that out. So my name is Chamaka Glory Jonathan, and I'm the programs coordinator at the Restored Heart Foundation. It's really exciting to be here, and I want to welcome us all once again for being here for this webinar this afternoon. So I'll just go ahead to talk about the Restored Heart Foundation and what we do at the Restored Heart Foundation. I'll just give us an overview of what we do. So the Restored Heart Foundation is a non-profit organization that is focused on organizing projects around SDG 3, SDG 4, which is quality health, which is good health and well-being, quality education, and also ensure that we incorporate SDG 8 into all our projects, which is decent work and economic growth. I'm sorry, I just want to put on my video so we can see. So can we see me? Can we see me? Okay, yes. All right.
Ma'am.
So,
we can see
okay,
you, we
yeah. So
can
just like
see
I
you.
said earlier, we organize a project around SDG 3, 4, and 8. That's good health and well-being, quality education, and decent work and economic growth. And we've done some projects in the past. We have the Teacher Bank project, we have the Young Veteran Competition, we have our medical outreach project, and we have our mental health project, which will be starting this year. So for the Teacher Bank project, this project was designed to provide skilled, competent, and adequate teachers to schools in underserved communities. And we implemented the pilot stage of this project last year at Government Day Secondary School in New Buari, LGA in Niger State. And it was a huge success because at the end of the project, we had a lot of success stories, we had a lot of impact. At the onset of the project, we had about 400 students at the school. And by the end of the project, we have over 600 students at this particular school. So we also have the Young Historian Competition, which is aimed at promoting the knowledge, the understanding of history amongst Nigerian students, Nigerian university students. So we've seen a situation where most of our youth are not aware of our history. So this competition, which is the Young Historian Competition, is aimed at promoting history. And it was a huge success. We had the first edition, the maiden edition last year. And the winner of this competition went home with a whooping sum of 500,000 and a trip to Kenya. And our first runner-up also went home with a whooping sum of 300,000 and a trip to Kenya. So the next edition will be coming up soon. So I would also tell all of us and encourage us to follow us on social media platform so that we'll be aware of when the second edition of this competition will be starting. We also have our medical outreach project where we do projects in communities, in underserved communities with regards to individuals' health. So the last one we did was at Gwarimpa last year, where we carried out different medical tests in Gwarimpa community, and it was a huge success. And we also have our project, our new project, which is the Mental Health First Aiders project, and it will be kicking off this year to promote mental health knowledge amongst young Nigerians. So this is what we do at the Restored Heart Foundation. So I would encourage all of us to follow us on our social media platform because we have a lot of amazing and wonderful projects and we want all of us to be part of it. Thank you so much all for joining, and I believe that we're going to have an amazing, a wonderful session this afternoon. So I'll be handing over to our amazing moderator, Zach, to continue. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Thank you, Chamaka. Is this the way you smile in real life, or is it just because of this engagement that you're smiling like this? Yeah, so thank you. That was really wonderful. What you guys do at the Restored Heart Foundation. I'm very, very honored to be here moderating this activity this afternoon. So thank you for that breakdown of introduction of the company to us or the organization. All right, so today basically we are looking at demystifying FGM, right? Myths surrounding FGM as young people, as people in the development space. I know many of us who are here today are not just hearing of FGM for the first time, while some may be. And so I'm just going to give us an overview of what FGM is and the actions or activities that has been done to end FGM so far in Nigeria and across the 31 priority countries where FGM is very, very prevalent. Now, like we know, FGM is more like if we go by the major or the basic definition of FGM, it's like there is the total or partial removal of the female genitalia for non-medical reasons. Now, we always emphasize the non-medical reasons because of the fact that FGM has no health benefits. And for many of us who are here who works in the public health space will understand that FGM has a lot of complications in the life of women across the globe. Currently, there are around 200 million women and girls globally who are survivors of FGM, right? And in Nigeria has 25% of FGMs, right? Like when it comes to number of women that are mutilated across the globe, it is said that the percentage rate in Nigeria is 25%, right? But when you measure it according to the population, for instance, Somalia is a country with the highest prevalence of FGM with about 96%. But as of today, the population of Somalia is 17.9 million people, which is not even half of what Nigeria have. So we who are in the space often say that Nigeria, as a result of our population, is a country with the highest prevalence of FGM because in Nigeria, 1 out of every 10 mutilated girl out, as in globally, 1 out of every mutilated girl globally is, or let me say, 1 out of every survivor of FGM. Like when you have 10 people, 1 out of them globally is a Nigerian. So that is just to show you the number of Nigerian women and girls that have already been mutilated or that are survivors of FGM. So there are different kind of FGM, like the recognized ones. There are different kind of FGM practices. So FGM is more like a cultural practice. It has been here for more than 2,000 years before even some of us were born. I don't know if everybody can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
we can hear
All right.
you.
So FGM has been here even before some of us has been born. Sometimes a lot of people has been made to believe that FGM was embedded in the Quran, FGM was embedded in the Bible, but there's no part of the Bible where you will see that it is right, where you will see circumcision of women. The only thing you will see is the circumcision of male, which happen after every 8 days. But in Nigeria, most places, like for instance in the Southeast, members of the community or families often circumcise their girls at the age of 8 days, which is a week. So that's because it is the tradition that is already in the Bible for men and not for women. So FGM is not, there's nowhere in the Bible where you see FGM. There's nowhere in the Quran where you also see FGM. Then, in Nigeria, there are 5 states with the highest prevalence of FGM. We have Osun State, Ekiti State, Oyo State, Imo State, and Ebonyi State. So these are 5 states in Nigeria with the highest prevalence of FGM. So the 4 major type of FGM we have is clitoridectomy. Clitoridectomy is more like a partial or total removal of the clitoris or the prepuce. So in clitoridectomy, they remove, they just cut off the sensitive part of the vagina, which is the clitoris. So the second part, we have excision. Excision is more like partial or total removal of the clitoris and the labia minora with or without cutting or excision of the labia majora. So it is like partial or total removal of both the clitoris and the labia, leaving labia minora, leaving the labia majora. So this third part is infibulation. Infibulation is more like sewing it up. So you just narrow the vagina orifice, covering part of it and cutting some part of the minora, of the labia minora, whereby the woman now want to pee, there'll just be a small hole for that person to urinate. Most times in infibulation, what happens is when it's time for marriage in most states like Gambia, in places where infibulation is often done majorly, when it's time for the lady to get married, what happens is in the night of the wedding, the vagina is cut off. Like they open it so that the man can penetrate. You can imagine the kind of pain that the lady has to pass in the night of her wedding, where something that has been sewn up for as long as you don't even know will now be cut open in the night of your wedding, and then your husband that night will have sex with you, just, even in the midst of that pain. So that's what infibulation in most countries is like. So the fourth part is type 4, which is the order. So all other harmful procedures to female genital mutilation or to the female genitalia for non-medical purposes fall under order. So we have the type 1, which is clitoridectomy type 2, excision, infibulation type 3, and then others. That's type 4. So as part of my job, as part of the things I do in the FGM space has been traveling within these 5 states in Nigeria where there has been high prevalence of FGM, to speak with young people, working with them to know how we as young people can collectively end FGM. And one of the constant things that keeps coming up is the fact that while like we already know that there are already existing types of FGM, type 1, type 2, type 3, and the others, recently we come to realize that in most communities, they do not do either of the three. They don't do infibulation, they don't do excision, and they don't do clitoridectomy. And we've seen physically where, for instance, most times you have your mother-in-laws who come during, or your mother come, for instance, as the ladies, why your mother comes during your child, when you give birth to a child, and they stay. The Igbos call it the omugo period. And while she's birthing your baby, she's using hot water to be numbing the clitoris, right? So that the little girl clitoris using hot water to be numbing the place, numbing the nerves. Okay, all right. So, okay, thank you. So,
I stopped hearing you, Zach.
okay, sorry. All right, sorry. So so I was just trying to give an overview of what FGM is and how it's being practiced in Nigeria all these years. Well, at this point, I'll be calling upon the speakers. Sorry, I think I've taken much of the time. All right, so at this time, we have 2 speakers in the house. We have Madeline Ekot and Lois Tofumi Amele. I don't know if I pronounced that very well, but one of our speaker, Madeline Ekot is an early career pharmacist who helps other pharmacists and pharmacy students have easier journeys and be more than just pharmacists through clarity sessions. Okay. By pharmacists for pharmacists. Okay, by pharmacists for pharmacists. She is the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigerian Young Pharmacists Group, Akwa Ibom State Coordinator. Marvelyn is the author of And Pharmacy School Happened, an exposition into the nitty-gritty of navigating pharmacy school through her experience and the experience of 100 other young pharmacists that graduated from 23 pharmacy schools in Nigeria. She is passionate about improving the quality of health and well-being through research, advocacy, awareness, and policy reforms. And aside from being a keen volunteer, she offers clarity sessions on health, as well as informative and entertaining videos on Marvel Famedy channel on TikTok and YouTube. Her enthusiasm for knowledge has earned her over 80 certifications, as well as opportunities in over 50 organizations over the years, where she either volunteers, partners, directs, or lead initiatives. Please, Marvelyn, please, if you're in the house, just say hi.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
All right. Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
I also hope
you
you
can
can hear me.
All right. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So our second speaker is Lois Tofumi Amele. I don't know if I pronounce it well. Please forgive me. So Lois Tofumi Amele is the executive director of Good Tides Philippine Missions Foundation. She's a sexual, gender-based, and mental health advocate. She's also a member of the global media campaign to end FGM. Lois has been featured in Voice of America TV station and amidst other TV stations and radio stations where she discusses efforts to provide therapy to women who have undergone FGM. Lois, you are welcome. Please, can you just say something to us?
Hi, hello. Good afternoon. It's actually Lois. Lois Tofumi Amele.
Okay, Lois.
Lois.
All right, Lois. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to have you here.
All right, Zach, I'm back.
Okay, you are welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry, I had a bit of network issues. I apologize.
All right. I'm glad to have you back. At least it will make the job
Thank
easier
you.
for me now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
So we are the question and answer series at the point. So over to you.
all right. I think you're introducing the speakers, right?
I've just done that. Yeah,
All
I've
right
done
then.
that.
Okay, the first question. Okay, welcome again, speakers. Thank you for honoring our invitation. Then I'll direct this question to Ms. Marvin. Can you share some common myths about female genital mutilation and demystify them?
All right, thank you very much for your question. I hope everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me?
Clear, yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I
ma'am.
can hear you from here.
Yeah. First and foremost, I want to say a very big thank you to Restored Hearts Foundation for this opportunity, and also especially for sharing the video that gave us a brief overview of what FGM is like. So there are a lot of myths about female genital mutilation, and the first is that FGM is a one-off procedure. In reality, FGM is not just a one-off procedure. Depending on the culture, depending on the religious background, depending on the society which it is carried out, it might be a set of activities. Usually, it is said to be a rite that is performed to initiate women into womanhood. For some reasons, there are those that surround sexual purity and to help the woman curb sexual immorality. There are a lot of reasons, so it might not necessarily be a one-off session or a one-off activity. And there are 4 types, just like Zach did a great job introducing. The second myth is the fact that people usually claim that the female genital mutilation is the same as male circumcision. It is not the same. For male circumcision, it is actually a process to remove the foreskin of the penis of the man to make the process of urination smoother and easier. For some people to beautify it, and there are several other reasons around that. But for female genital mutilation, it is actually a harmful practice. In fact, it has to involve all the procedures or strategies that are surrounding the partial or total removal of the external female genitalia and injury to the female genital organs, especially for non-medical reasons. So for male circumcision, it is a medical procedure, but for female circumcision, it is not a medical procedure. And then the third myth is that FGM happens to just a small percentage of girls. But in reality, FGM happens to over 200 million women worldwide. And despite the advocacy in the past years, ever since it started in ancient Egypt over 2,000 years ago, it is still on the rise because there's ignorance. It's a practice that has been passed down from generation to generation, and people are not even aware. The fourth myth is that it can't be stopped. But I'm here today, by the reason of this webinar, to let everyone know that FGM is a practice that can be stopped. FGM is a practice that can be stopped. And that's why I'm calling on all of us. We are taking the right step. Thank you, Restored Heart Foundation, for taking this opportunity to raise awareness on the need to stop female genital mutilation, because it's a harmful, deadly practice. It is bad for both the woman, it is bad for her sexual life, it is bad for her physical life, her self-esteem, and everything else. So it can't be stopped, and it should be stopped. With our advocacy, with our activities, with our collaborations, it can actually be stopped. So those are the myths, and I've corrected the 4 myths I shared. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marveline. Yes, it can be stopped. FGM can be stopped. Okay, so Lois, the next question is for you. And the question is, how do these myths impact efforts to combat FGM and support survivors and affected communities?
Okay, so you say, how does this myth impact people?
Yes, how does the myths around FGM impact efforts to combat FGM and support survivors in affected communities?
Okay.
Sorry,
Thank
I
you very
mean, and
much for that
support
question.
for survivors. Sorry, and support for survivors, if you get me.
Okay, so you're asking like 2 questions in one: how it impacts and how we can combat. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, I got your question right. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for this opportunity. Thank you, Restored Heart Foundation, for bringing this to the limelight, because it's something that is very important that we really need to talk about, in Nigeria. The last speaker said something that I just wanted to comment about before I go into my question. She said it is not a non-medical procedure for female. FGM is not a non-medical procedure for female, but it is a medical procedure for male. I don't know if that was what she said, because
no, you misheard me. Hello, you misheard me. I said for females, FGM is not a medical procedure, but for male, it is considered a medical procedure. So I think you're hearing me wrongly.
Okay, but there's something called medicalization of FGM now, where females go to the hospital, and medical practitioners do this on them. That's what FGM is evolving into. Okay, just moving that apart. Going into my question, the impact of female genital mutilation. Female genital mutilation has a lot of impact. We have the long-term complications, and we have the short-term complications of female genital mutilation. And the short-term impact of female genital mutilation is, at that time when the procedure is being carried out on the woman. I hope you can hear me clearly. Hello? Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, ma. We can hear you, ma.
Absolutely.
Yes, we can hear you. At that time when the procedure is being carried out, there's a lot of pain at that first period. Then there's a lot of, for some people, bleeding and all of that, like what happened to Faten Hassan Ahmed. She was caught, and because she was caught, after some time, she peeled it off and she bled to death, hemorrhage. Then some injuries to the genitalia, the part of the genitalia, and then retention of urine. Those are the short-term complications at that time when it is still going on. Now, for some cultures, they insert tongues into the genitalia. They say it will help the genitalia to heal quickly for some people. So, everybody just have their own, procedure around female genital mutilation, and leads to more complications. Like our moderator was talking about, female genital mutilation earlier. He said, there's something called infibulation. That's the type 3 of female genital mutilation. Now, there is the second type, which is called the de-infibulation. That's after you have been sewed down, the vaginal orifice has been sewed down. After some time, they go and open it up. Maybe when the woman just gets married and she's about to have sex, or to the hospital and do a defibrillation. Then they now sew back the vagina horrific. So that type 3 is like 3 different parts. So we go through infibulation, that's the sewing, defibrillation, that's the opening, then re-infibulation, that's like another, yeah, that's like another opening again. So that's that's another long-term complications. Then for the long-term complications, we have a lot around, pregnancy, complications in giving birth, a whole lot of other ones, menstrual complications. Like for the infibulation, sometimes the vaginal orifice is sewed completely, and then the blood is retained inside. The blood is retained inside. It doesn't come down, and that causes infection and a whole lot of other things. I'm following you. So the blood is retained inside, and then that is a huge complication. Then we have a lot of other long-term complications that happen to some women. We see some cases of miscarriages. I met someone and I was talking to her, and her own was due to miscarriage. She had lots of miscarriages, like 2 or 3, before she had like 2 male children. So those are the long-term complications. So I just finished mentioning the short-term complications and the long-term complications. Now, ways to combat them, and one of the effective ways that we have actually been using and have been helping is awareness creation. A lot of people know that this thing is wrong, but a lot of people do not know, because when you go into communities, I'm from Ekiti State, so like the moderator stated earlier that this is actually happening in Ekiti. At some point, Ekiti State was the second highest prevalent state of female genital mutilation. When you go to some communities, you're speaking to them, they'll just be looking at you because they don't know that it's actually wrong. So one way to combat it is awareness creation, ability to talk to these people, make them understand that this thing is wrong, and all of that. Because once you go into the community and you assume that they know, and you need to say, this and that, you just notice that they will not even listen to you. So that's one of the major ways to combat it. I have a book titled Tolani Nirara. It's a book that talks about female genital mutilation, and I've gone to different communities to give it out to girls. So another thing we can do is to sensitize girls about their sexual and reproductive health, making them understand that you can say no to these things. There was a girl that ran, I think 2 years ago, she ran away. It was in the newspaper. I think it was in Punch or somewhere. It was in the newspaper. She ran away, and she was like, no, she doesn't want to be caught. And we had some other people that brought her into safe house and all of that. So it's important that we sensitize the girl. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lois, for that response. Thank you so much. Sorry, I just needed to add this. One of the things that we often think is whenever FGM is mentioned, what most people think is a rural community thing. Yeah, while the prevalence is more in most of those places. According to recent research, FGM is becoming currently there's 16% of FGM in more, like, in today's town. Yeah. So Rama, over to you, please. Can go on and ask the next question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Zach. And thank you, Lois, for answering that question. Okay, I've been hearing about awareness. People lack awareness. We need to sensitize them. And we also understand the fact that female genital mutilation is deeply rooted in culture. So the knowledge that people have about itself was given to them in their community. So my question to you, Marvlin, is, can you provide examples of how misinformation about FGM perpetuates harmful practices or attitudes? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Rama.
Yes, sorry about the network issues I'm having here. So,
okay. Did you hear my question?
Yeah, you asked me to provide ways. You asked me to provide ways through which FGM. Sorry, please just repeat.
All right. I'm like, we keep mentioning awareness. Then we have to be sure that we're passing the right message when we talk about sensitizing the public on female genital mutilation. So my question is, can you provide examples of how misinformation about FGM perpetuates harmful practices or attitudes?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So there are a lot of misinformations about female genital mutilation. For instance, just like the speaker had talked about medicalization of FGM, that particular topic is still being argued across the world, and it's a sensitive one. FGM has no medical benefits. It is torturous, like I said. It is unnecessary. In fact, there are a lot of corrective surgeries that have to be done for type 3, and type 4 FGM to be able to make the woman enjoy sex again or be able to give birth. There are so many stresses around that. So there's the need for awareness. But the fact is, the awareness is not just about giving information. It's about recognizing the wrong information that is being spread out and then making efforts to correct the wrong information that is going out. Over the past 2,000 years, FGM has been encouraged through different religions, different cultures. There have been sayings that FGM helps to improve the woman's reproductive health. There have been those sayings that it's a way of initiating the women into womanhood. There is a lot of sayings that the women are not in control of their bodies. A woman's body belongs to a man, especially in communities where girls and women are denied education. So one of the ways to help combat this, because it's actually a problem, it's a problem when people are not properly informed. For instance, there's a study by UNICEF, a 2022 study by UNICEF, where people who went into a particular African country were denied entry because one of the steps to help combat FGM is through procedures that encourage awareness, encourage the right information, encourage community engagement and mobilization of people. So they were denied entry into that particular community as a result of the fact that these individuals already placed the ignorant information they have that has been passed down from generation to generation over the right information that we are actually bringing. So it is important that we advocate for the education of girls, that just as you have organized this webinar, which is one of the steps towards capacity building, we encourage safe spaces for girls that have been ostracized to be able to speak up, because sometimes these people know that it's a problem, but because they're not well encouraged, because they're not well integrated into the society to share their problems, it just keeps getting worse. Then there's also the need for follow-up, because one of the things that has really hindered our progress in the FGM fight is the fact that there is minimal follow-up. So you could just raise awareness, and the next thing, the same set of things are happening because there is no effective follow-up and implementation of these policies. There are several policies across the world that have been initiated, and just like one of which is the World, the International Day for Zero Tolerance to Female Genital Mutilation. There needs to be a lot of work, there needs to be a lot of synergy, because it's important that we give girls and women the right information, the right education, the right assistance and support, and the right integration back into the society if we must really, really conquer the fight to end female genital mutilation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marvin, for that. Over to you, Zach.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you, Rama. So, Lois, sorry, I didn't know if I ended you in the middle of your while you were still talking while you were responding to the first question. I think I was having some network issues. My sincere apologies for that. So your next question is, if you can hear me, your next question is, what are some effective strategies for debunking myths and promoting accurate information about FGM?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Yeah, the network can be somehow, but it's fine. There's just a lot to say when it comes to female genital mutilation for me, because I've gone through, I've seen it's a serious problem. Okay, so we're talking about strategies, and one of the strategies I will talk about is the fact that we need to challenge the discriminatory reasons why people, carry out this act of female genital mutilation. I was somewhere, the Women's Society, National Society for Women something. So they invited me to talk about, female genital mutilation. And someone said that every time she goes to a community and she tells them that female genital mutilation is bad, they still come back to do it again. And she was asking a question that how can she ask them to stop it? And I'm like, one of the first thing to do is to tell them about the consequences of female genital mutilation. What is this thing actually doing? Okay, like the other speaker said, it has no health benefit. So what is it actually doing? So that's one of the ways we can, that's one of the strategies, one of the best strategies, let us bring other survivors and make them in different communities. Another one is educate girls on their sexual and reproductive health. Make them understand that this thing will affect you later. This is what it is, make them understand some of these procedures. Then we speak about the risk. If you go through female genital mutilation, this is what will happen. This and this is what will happen. Then we can tackle the secrecy that allows the cutting. They'll say, if like in Nasarawa State, one thing that they said yes, if the head of the baby touches the clitoris, then the baby will die. So that's one of the myths, and they have been doing it because of that. And then some people will say, you want to spoil our family name because we don't want you to spoil our family name. We want you to get caught. Some of all those things, those are the secrecy behind female genital mutilation. Those are the myths behind female genital mutilation. And the only way to tackle it is to talk about, the harmful effects. This is what will happen if you do this. Okay, we can see the rate of maternal mortality rate. Now I think it's 550 over 100,000 live births. So 550 maternal mortality rate. That is a huge number. So let's talk about the reasons, the consequences of female genital mutilation. And by so doing, I want to hope that we'll eradicate it in no time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lois. Thank you so much. Rama, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach, and thank you, Lois, for answering that question in detail. My question to Ms. Marvlin is, most of us present in this webinar are young people passionate about change, trying to contribute their own quota to the community. So I'd like to ask you, what role do you think young people can play in dispelling myths and changing perceptions about female circumcision? Hello?
Thank you very much for your question. So there are several roles which we as young people can play in ending female genital mutilation. And the first is the fact that because young people are teachable, because young people are moldable, and because young people have the enthusiasm and energy, we should harness on the strengths of these young people to raise more awareness on female genital mutilation and, of course, make efforts to end it. We can involve young people in using technology and social media. Imagine how far our flyers and our links for this webinar went, just to bring people together to learn about FGM. If all the young people across Nigeria, from the states, all the 36 states and the FCT, and all the countries in Africa come together over time, I'm sure that we are going to make progress. The second is gathering people together to create awareness through community engagement. As young people, where you find yourself in your office, some of us that are students, some of us that are doing different kinds of business, begin to create, to engage people to join in the fight to end female genital mutilation. And the next is the fact that young people need to get involved in politics and policy making and advocacy. Of course, we cannot be sitting at the sidelines and just expecting them to end female genital mutilation. We need to start getting involved in politics because, of course, it is one of the ways to effect change. If more young people are strategically placed in the right places to make policies and implement them, if they're directly involved in policy making and implementation, it will definitely go a long way to end FGM. And of course, there's need for follow-up. The older people might not have the energy to do all those follow-up, especially when it has to do with physical, just like sometimes we organize outreaches and events in our different states. We talk to the young girls, we talk to the old women, we talk to the men who encourage these things. It is important that we as young people take up the role to follow up. So awareness, advocacy, using our youthful energy to engage the social media and digital technology, as well as getting involved in politics and policy development, are all ways that young people can help to end FGM through these fights. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marvin. That was, in fact, I'm inspired. Over to you, Zach.
Wow, thank you, Marveline. Awareness, awareness, awareness policy is key. Thank you for that insight. Okay, the next, Lois, your next, your question is the next. So the question is, how can we engage elderly women in underserved communities in conversations about FGM myths and their harmful impacts?
Okay. So I will just cite an example of something that happened during the International Day for Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation. I went to Biba Wasa for awareness, awareness creation for a community intervention project. It's Biba Wasa there's an IDP in Biba Wasa. So I was just talking, and then I was talking to one of the women there. And while talking to her, she now mentioned that, oh, she heard over the radio that female genital mutilation is bad and some other things like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this woman actually listens to radio. And I was excited because what my organization do is so much around radio and print, podcast, and all of that. So it just made me, feel energized. A lot of people will be like, oh, people in the communities, people in the cities, they probably would not listen to radio, but that's another way you can engage them, using the radio, using the media. There was a day I was actually on radio and I was talking, and somebody said that since female genital mutilation is done through traditional means, let them go to the hospitals now. Let them go and do it there. You can see that we're already engaging people by doing so, by talking about female genital mutilation via radio. And that was when I was not able to answer that, oh no, it is wrong to go to the health professionals because you think you're trying to end female genital mutilation by using pain relief drugs or using sterile tools, but the aftermath effect of female genital mutilation would still happen. The health effect of female genital mutilation will still happen to the person. So it does not stop the effect of female genital mutilation, even if you go to the hospital. Okay, so we just try to engage people using the radio and TV. Another method is going to those people in those communities, speaking to the kakas, because it was one of the kakas that was saying it that if the head of the baby touches the clitoris, the baby will die. So that's the reason why they do it in their community. And there's a name they call her, I've forgotten what they call her. So we were there, just sensitized and made them understand that, oh, it is wrong. Don't do it this way. Don't do it that way, and all of that. And by so doing, a lot of them, made up their mind that they will stop it. And on our team, during the 16 days of activism, our organization team was no hiding place. That means don't even go behind closed doors to do it because it is wrong. So we made people in different communities watchdogs of other women. So we told those
Sorry, I stopped hearing you.
I think it was a network glitch. I also stopped hearing her. I think we are back now.
Okay, so at what point did you stop hearing?
Yeah, where you went,
Because some people also call in, and they're like, they ask different questions. They were like, oh, if they don't do it traditionally, can they do it in the hospitals? And that was when we now answered that, oh, it is wrong, because the long-term effect will still, occur to those set of people. So the effect of female genital mutilation will still be there. Okay, so we just talked about some of those things, using the radio. Then another method, another strategy is going to them. And I said that our team during the International Day for Zero Tolerance is no hiding place. So we brought watchdogs. We made some of the women there watch over some other women, and make them understand that, oh, it is wrong. Don't do this, don't do that. Make those other women not to cut their girls. Let them not do it behind closed doors, So basically, it was just sensitization. But basically, methods on doing this is to go to them using radio, because my organization, we work with global media campaigns to end FGM. So we use radio, we use TV, we use the podcast and some other ways. So basically, those are the ways we use to engage women in different communities. I hope you heard me. I just repeated what I said.
Yes, I did. Thank you. It still boils down to awareness. Thank you. All right, Rama, over to you.
All right, thank you. For Ms. Madeline, how can we use technology? This is the age of technology, social media. Everybody's on social media, has a good social media presence. So how can we use technology and social media to counteract information about FGM and promote accurate information?
Thank you very much for your question. So the first thing about the use of technology and social media in counteracting the wrong information about FGM and dispelling myths, as well as sharing the right information, is that we ourselves, as young people, we ourselves on this call, we ourselves listening to me, should definitely equip ourselves with the right information. Don't just go through one resource or two resources. Some information about FGM that used to be there in the past is no longer valid. Get yourself updated with the new information, the recent trends, the right information. It's only when you are well equipped. Of course, you can't give what you don't have. It's only when you're well equipped that you can pass the right information. And of course, one of the effective ways is using social media. For instance, when Restored Hearts Foundation reached out to me on social media, I had made a post on the International Day for Zero Tolerance to Female Genital Mutilation, and I shared my story. I've been in the fight against female genital mutilation actively since 2018, worked with different organizations, Equal Heaven Initiative, and a lot of other organizations. And one of the things is that in the course of the fight, in the course of meeting victims, survivors, and of course, entering those interior communities where people are doing these things, it is my awareness and my constant updating of my information that has helped me in the fight. So we as young people need to get the right information, then engage aggressively on social media. You can use your LinkedIn, you can use your Facebook, you can use your Twitter, you can use your Instagram, you can use your YouTube to raise this awareness. You can also start a podcast. You can engage with other people who are running podcasts. It's a collective fight. You can host different virtual engagements, just like this event we are having now is a virtual engagement to raise awareness on demystifying the myths around female genital mutilation. More of this should be encouraged. So the social media can be used. different different technological aspects, different mobile apps, text messages, the print media, the podcasts. There are a lot, videos. There's TikTok where people are making videos, people are making funny content. You could decide to start up your own content and your own channel about female genital mutilation. We'll definitely support you. So these are ways. You cannot just say you're not going to join these fights. You're not going to say you're just going to be doing your own thing. We should work together. There's the emphasis here, which is on collaboration. Just like I'm in the fight against female genital mutilation, and Restored Heart Foundation is doing so. And Law is, I hope I got that right. Law is also in the fight against female genital mutilation. We could decide to collaborate. Young people, old people, everyone. It's an issue that affects everybody. And that's why I said one of the myths is that female genital mutilation cannot stop. It can actually stop if all hands are working together. Like I want to say, there is a great reduction in the number. At least now there's a lot of noise about it. At least now women are in school. At least now women know about their bodies. So we should not stop. We should not stop until we are done. The war is still on. The game is still playing. And so we need to engage as many people as possible. You have that social media platform where you have 2,000 followers. What are you doing with it that you're not sharing information about female genital mutilation? You know, it is important that we all engage. It is important that we all are part of these fights. It is very important. And it's only when we do this that we can get good success. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, Madeline, thank you so much for that. Social media is a major tool for advocacy, like all of us know. Thank you so much. So we are already behind time, but Lois, this is your last question. I just want you to respond to it as fast as possible. And also please, those for participants, you can be dropping your questions in the chat box. We'll be responding to them immediately after this session. Thank you. So Lois, this is your last question. What are some ethical considerations when engaging in advocacy or awareness campaigns on FGM myths?
Okay. So it is very important that we bear in mind that some of them are ignorant of female genital mutilation. So there's sometimes that a lot of advocates are very passionate about ending female genital mutilation, and because they're so passionate, they're like, no, why are they doing this? You're just angry about it, while some people don't even know that this is what is happening and all of that. I've been to a community when I was talking about female genital mutilation, and some people were just looking a certain way, and I'm like, okay. So after some time, they now called me, and then I now explained further what female genital mutilation means and all of that. They were like, they used to do this in this place, or they used to do this, they started opening up. So it's very important to know that, to have in mind that a lot of people are ignorant. Some people are still ignorant. They don't know what it means. So when you're going into communities to advocate, to educate people on female genital, just assume that they don't know. Okay, then you can start from there. Don't start saying, you people that are doing this thing, you have been killing a lot of girls, you have been doing this, you have been doing that. By so doing, a lot of people will not even open up, to do this. Our leader, the Global Media Campaign, our board of director here in Nigeria, Ayo Belu, she met a woman, in a church. That's her work, yeah, baby. So she used to help deliver baby. That's what it means in Yoruba, in Osun State. And Auntie Ayo was going around and she was talking to people about female genital mutilation, and that was when the woman heard, and she was like, oh, okay, so this is what it means. And she didn't know that they used to do it after 7 days, is in the church, so that's what she does. She was like, after 7 days, we used to do this to the girls, and Auntie Ayo was like, oh, it is wrong, don't do it to our girls. If you do it, this is what will happen to them, and all of that. And the woman came up, she said, record me, please, I want to be part of the advocacy, record me. That was how Auntie Ayo recorded her and, posted her on Facebook and Instagram. And she was talking about the fact that she didn't know that it was wrong. She didn't know that that was what even affected her as a woman, and all of that. So it's important not to judge them. It's important to just speak with them as if they don't even know what it means. By so doing, you may buy their and all of that. Another thing is consent. Can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes,
It's
although you
breaking,
Can you hear
got
me?
yeah, I
yeah,
can.
yes, can hear you.
Okay, so I stopped at, it is important not to take pictures, and videos, except you have taken consent, proper consent from them in those communities. Sometimes when NGOs go into communities, because we just want to get stories and all of that, we just quickly, get pictures, want to quickly get pictures and all of that and videos so that we can post on our social media. It's important to ask for permission before doing that. Basically, those are the ethical things. It's important to bear in mind that they are ignorant, don't judge them, be friendly, and take permission before videos and pictures. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So at this point, we have come to this question and answer, to the end of the question and answer session. Now we'll go asking the speakers, the speaker session. We'll go to the Q&A session where my co-moderator, Rama, will be handling the session. We have a lot of questions in the comment section already, right? So Rama, over to you.
Thank you very much, Zach. I'm sure the audience my first to Miss Lois. Someone from the audience asked, why do most people believe that having their children is a way of reducing having their childbirth? Sorry, please, I'll come again. Why do most people believe that having their children through FGM is a way of reducing early childbirth and most importantly, reducing HIV and AIDS? I think this is a form of myth. The audience member would like you to address it as it's something that's prevalent in her community. Lois, please, did you get my question?
Sorry, let me ask you back. Maybe I'm getting the question right. The person is saying that why is it that FGM is reducing HIV or what?
No, from my understanding of the question, like I think the person believes that most people believe that doing the procedure, that is female genital mutilation, will reduce HIV. So can you
Okay, female genital mutilation does not reduce HIV. Rather, it increases HIV.
Yes, will decrease their risk of contracting HIV.
No, it does not decrease the risk. It increases the risk, especially because of the fact that those that are in traditional and all these rural communities, they don't have sterile tools. So that is, while they now use some of those tools, some people just dip it in water and all of that and just clean it and then use it to cut the girls. If you see for different communities, like I said earlier, they have how they do some of these things. They do it as festival and all of that. I was with somebody at AIT on Friday, and she said the way they do it in their community is they do it like a festival, they do it like a serious and a big celebration and all of that. And all of those girls must be caught in that same day. And most times they don't have so many tools for each and every one of them. So what they do is they cut one person and they probably dip it in water, wash it, and then cut another person and all of that. So by so doing, you are increasing, HIV, not decreasing HIV. Yeah. Then she talked about something childbirth. I didn't get that question. Did you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Lois.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she mentioned something about childbirth. I didn't get that last question. I just finished answering the question on increasing HIV. I hope you heard that.
Okay,
part.
the person also said in their community it is believed that the practice of FGM will make you have your children early. I don't know, having the children, or it's a way of reducing early childbirth, that is reducing promiscuity in a way.
Yes, that's why they actually, do female genital mutilation in some communities. Those are some of the cultural reasons why they do female genital mutilation, because they feel that once they cut the clitoris, the urge to have sex will no longer be there, and by so doing, you will not be pregnant. Okay, so that's what they say. But at the end of the day, I've seen someone that because of it made her to become a sex worker. Okay, because her clitoris was cut off, she was looking for satisfaction, and because of that, she now had multiple partners. So promiscuity is it's still part of the myth around female genital mutilation. It does not reduce promiscuity, rather it increases it, because look at the young lady that is now looking for satisfaction and having multiple partners, because the organ that helps to give her that satisfaction has been cut off. So yeah, basically it's just a myth, and at the end of the day, it doesn't reduce promiscuity.
All right, thank you very much for that, Lois. To the audience member, I hope that is clear. FGM does not in any way reduce your chances of contracting HIV, rather it even increases it. And for reducing promiscuity, it might make you search for satisfaction in places where you might not find them. So that is absolutely a myth, and there's no basis for that. So thank you very much, Lois. To my next question, I'd like to ask Marvin, why do most people believe that having their children after FGM, that's female genital mutilation, is a way of reducing? Okay, sorry, that's the same question. I'll rephrase that. Okay, Marvin, I'm sorry. I'll read the other question. Are we saying it's safe if FGM is done by the medical personnel rather than these local professionals? Because we're talking about the medicalization of female genital mutilation. Is it safer, or in any way it's dangerous, whether performed by a medical professional or a non-medical personnel? Marvin, please, did you get my question? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
I can hear you.
I think she might have network issues. So, Lois, please, if you don't mind, can you answer the question for us? Are we saying that FGM is safer if done by a medical professional? We are talking about the medicalization of female genital mutilation. Is it safer if done by a medical professional, or either ways it's harmful?
Okay, either ways it's harmful. It's just that people believe that once they take the child to the hospital, once they take the girl to the hospital, and then they give her pain relief, and then they use sterile tools, that would probably reduce the effect of female genital mutilation or the consequences of female genital mutilation. But it is wrong. What will happen to her would still happen to her, because the long-term effect, like I mentioned earlier, menstrual issues, pregnancy issues, a whole lot of issues, miscarriages, all of those things will still happen. So they may probably not have HIV because they use sterile tools. They may not feel the pain because they've probably used diclofenac and all of that. But at the end of the day, the consequences still remains the same. So medicalization of FGM does not stop the effect of FGM. So it's just the same as doing it the traditional way. Yeah, I hope I've answered that.
Yes, Lois, thank you very much. Due to time constraint, I'm sorry for the audience members that asked questions. We'll try to get back to you, but we would like to end the Q&A session here. Thank you everyone that participated. At this juncture, I would like to hand over to the programs coordinator at the Restored Heart Foundation, Chiamaka, for the raffle draw. Chiamaka.
Thank you very much, Rama. Okay, so hi everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Rama,
we can
please
hear you.
Yes,
we
we can
can
hear
hear
you.
you loud and clear.
Okay, so I want to say, I want to just appreciate us for staying put till this moment, staying put to the end of our webinar. So it's time for our raffle draw. I hope you're excited. I want to hear our voices. Are we excited? Are we excited? Are we excited? It's
Yes,
time
we
for
are.
our
Yeah.
data raffle draw. So we're going to be having 3 winners after this raffle draw. And this raffle draw is for everyone present here, just for our participants are present here in this meeting. So we'll be having the raffle draw, and we're going to be having 3 winners, and each winner will be going home with airtime. Yeah, 1,000 airtime, 1,000 naira airtime, to support us. So I'll be sharing my screen. Yes, I'll be sharing my screen right now. Okay, can we see my screen? Please, let's confirm. Rama, can we see my
Sorry,
screen?
Chiamaka, I didn't get that.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, perfect.
Yes,
So,
I can see your screen.
all right. So I'm going to be spinning this wheel right now, and we're going to be having 3 lucky winners. So I'll spin this wheel 3 times, and after the first round, we get our first
Sister, there is where
winner.
posted the picture.
Please mute yourself if you're
Where's the
muted.
picture?
If you're muted, please mute yourself. Okay, so I'll be spinning the wheel now. I'll spin it 3 times, then we'll get our winners for the raffle draw. So we'll have our first winner, Chisa.
Where's the time?
Chisa, can you hear me? Chisa.
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you. I can hear you. Thank you very much.
Ah, right, right, right.
Sorry, I can't hear you perfectly well. The network is somehow over here if you can hear me though.
Hello, can we hear me now? I didn't know I was muted. I was talking.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
I can
Okay,
hear you
perfect. So we
clearly.
have our three winners. We have Chisa, we have Josephine, and we have Bright. So I was asking earlier on if we registered for this webinar, but then I would want us to send. I want us to send me your details. I'm going to drop my email in the comment box, in the chat box. So you send me your details for the airtime. So Bright, Chisa, and Josephine, congratulations. And thank you all for joining once again. So at this juncture, I'm going to call on our programs manager in the person of Ibuka Alumina for our closing remark. But before he comes on board, I want to appreciate us once again for joining this webinar. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, our speakers. So I'll be calling on our amazing, wonderful, incredible programs manager in the person of the one and only Ebuka Alubona. You have the floor now.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. It's a pleasure to have everyone here. I think that the other speaker is not here, Lois, but I can see Madeline is here. Thank you so much for answering all the questions we've collated for this session, and to our amazing co-hosts, our moderators, Zach and Rama. Amazing session right there. I know that the network can have a mind of its own sometimes, but I think this session was very educational, and I learned a lot from it, and I am very sure you also learned from it as well. So from the conversations, part of the things I could hear was awareness, awareness, awareness. So it means that as a next steps for us, for everyone here, is to go ahead and put the message out there and try to make sure that we end FGM in our communities and our immediate environment. Please let's also know that some of these people doing this, they don't know it's bad. They just feel like it's good. So it's very important for us not to look at them with that disdain look, or to put out to them that what you're doing is wrong, you need to stop it, and all of that. I think we should be very creative in the ways that we approach these people, be it online, be it offline. So thank you very much once again for attending this webinar. We look forward to having you in subsequent webinars, and we also look forward to having you volunteer for our upcoming program if it happens to be in your state. We'll be happy to have you work with us. So thank you very much. Over to you, Chiamaka.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Ibuka, for that wonderful and amazing closing remarks. Thank you so much, everyone. So we're happy to have you all here. Thank you. So also want to wish us all an amazing day ahead. We would send the recording of this Zoom session with us via our email addresses. Thank you so much, everyone. And please don't forget to follow us on our social media handles. So I'll be dropping my email address now for those of us that want the raffle to send me the details. Thank you, guys.